The whistle might have been blown in Premier League referees David Coote's career after this video, allegedly of him, went viral yesterday.
What did you think of the Liverpool game earlier when you were fourth official?
Liverpool.
What do you think of Jurgen Klopp?
Absolutely.
What would you say? Why would you say that Jurgen Klopp was a?
Aside from having a right pop at me when I ref them against Burnley in lockdown, then he accused me of lying and then just had a right pop at me, and I've got no interest in speaking to someone who's arrogant. Just to be clear, that last video can't go anywhere. Seriously.
What news for you, David?
I know. Anyway, we'll speak to former Premier referee Mark Halsey in a minute, but first let's bring in our chief football correspondent Alex Crook for an update. Crookie, very good morning.
Morning, Crookie.
Good morning.
Crookie, we thought we were in for a kind of, Andy and I thought we were in for a kind of quiet Tuesday. Clearly not the case, mate. What's the latest?
Yeah, I thought I was in for a quiet Monday until about 2 o'clock yesterday afternoon. It gets more damning, doesn't it, every time you watched it, and I've watched it several times now. Part of me was hoping that it was some kind of AI stunt so that David Coote could just continue his career quietly, but it became evident pretty quickly that wasn't the case, and my understanding is that David Coote has now acknowledged to the PGMOL, the governing body in charge of referees in this country, that the video is indeed authentic, albeit it's a few years old, and I think he says he doesn't really remember the context of the conversation, but it's hard, isn't it, to see a scenario where he continues his refereeing career, certainly in this country anyway. And I think it's given the PGMOL a problem, because you guys have had calls on a regular basis, I would suggest, from fans of various clubs up and down the land, suggesting there's some kind of bias from officials against them. And when videos like this come to the surface, it just adds fuel to those fires, doesn't it?
It certainly does, Crookie. I mean, it's going to be an ongoing issue. At this moment in time, you've got to say, Crookie, look, as you mentioned, they are very, very difficult for him to referee in the country again.
Yeah, he's been suspended while the PGMOL conducts an investigation. We should remember, even on duty as recently as this weekend at Anfield, there was one contentious decision in that game, wasn't there, when maybe he could have shown an Aston Villa player a red card. But even if he comes out and makes a public apology, he certainly can't be put in charge of Liverpool games again. I would suggest he can't be put in charge of games that have any kind of effect on Liverpool. And I think the inevitable outcome here, sadly, for David Coote is that he loses his job.
I think you're probably right. Listen, Crookie, thank you very much. Still an ongoing issue. Now, joining us now is a man who's refereed in the Premier League for 4 years. So a very good morning to Mark Halsey. Mark, thanks for joining us, mate. How are you this morning? Have we got you there, Mark? Hello, Mark. Good morning.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we've got you now,
got you loud.
I'm here.
Got you loud and clear, mate.
I'm not happy, my friend, because Coote are bottom of the championship. I'm not happy at all.
You're having a struggle there, mate. You've got to say you're having a struggle.
But if it's
a shocker, Mark, I've got to say, if it's okay with you, we'll put QPR back to the end of the conversation.
No, I don't want to say that.
Because there's one or two things been happening. First thing I've got to ask you, mate. I mean, he clearly done himself absolutely no favours at all, Mark. Have you got any sympathy for him?
Yeah, look. I mean, same with me yesterday. My phone didn't stop ringing. Once the video was released. Listen. Look, it's a private video between two friends in their house, and something like this shouldn't have been released. Obviously, he's been let down badly. But having said that, he's just got to be so careful these days what you do. Well, you know that. Andy knows that. You just got to be so careful with mobile phones and video cameras, and I just really feel for him. I think what we've got to consider more than the video, because David would be absolutely devastated. His career is on the line. He'd be devastated. And what we've got, the PGMOL have got a duty of care to his mental health in this situation. They've got to make sure, obviously, they've got to conduct a full investigation. And they've got to look after David with a duty of care with mental health, because we've seen what's happened in the past when people have, they've done things that they shouldn't have done. And I just hope that David's okay. Listen, he will be regretting what he's done many years ago. Listen, we've all said things privately to ourselves, about our teams and players, but you don't go on and I don't know. You don't release a video like that if you're a friend and you've done it in your private house. Do you know what I mean? No. I just feel for him. I feel for him, guys. I do.
Well, look, he's a former. He's in your business, so I can understand.
I mean,
despite what he said, and the nature of a lot of stuff that he said is out of order. But
Absolutely.
But you have been in that situation as well. And for years, Mark, we've been talking about getting more of a human side to referees, taking away the robotic sort of status where you do what you do out on the pitch and then no one hears a peep out of anyone at all. So is this in that respect, where do you stand, Mark, in terms of referees having to perhaps tell the wider public who they support? Having an opinion on things, should they be allowed to or shouldn't they be allowed to, privately, whatever. Where do you stand on that sort of stuff?
Well, listen, if it's in your own house, in your own home, and you're making a video between yourselves, I mean that should just stay there. I mean, it's not had many battles, many rows with players and managers in my dressing room, in the tunnel, on the pitch, but it stayed in my dressing room. It stayed on the pitch. I never took it into the next game. You know, we could never, ever question a referee's integrity. Never, ever.
Mark, that's the point I'm trying to make, right? This video's come out, right? And it's damning. It's not good for him. But why should we be surprised at a referee having... We've heard an opinion which we shouldn't have heard, but why are we surprised that he's got an opinion? Because the fact of the matter is, Andy and I were speaking about it, referees are the exact same as us. They'll have an opinion on the game that they had. They'll have an opinion on the people that they're working with at the games. The only thing that surprises is the way it's come out and probably the way that he said it. But we are kidding ourselves on if we don't think referees are human. They've got the same opinions. When I say the same opinions, a opinion that we have as well.
Absolutely. Listen, look, when we used to meet up every 2 weeks, and we all support teams. We also, another village has got a Premier League side, a League One side, a League Two side, a Championship side, and we all used to meet up and talk about the managers we refereed or the players we refereed, and we used to say things. You know, and obviously sometimes you can't print on or we can't say it on air, but we're human. We used to say things about players and managers together, but it stayed there. It was verbal. We were in our own hotel rooms when we used to meet up and have a glass of wine and talk about things. So you're right. You know, we're just the same as you guys.
I mean, look, you said that there's going to be a full investigation pending, an inquiry, etc. Mark, I mean, are you not expecting to see David Coote refereeing on these shores again?
Well, he certainly cannot referee a Liverpool game, can he?
No chance. He can't referee. He can't.
Not for if he does. I mean, listen, I don't want to see anybody lose their job. I mean, I don't want to see David lose his job. It's very difficult to say what the PGMOL and what the Howard Webb and remember the clubs will have a say as well because they're the stakeholders. So everybody will have an input into this situation. And Howard Webb's got a massive decision to make. Obviously, they've got to get all the facts, speak to David. Obviously we've seen the nature of it, but I mean, I can't help but think he's been let down very, very badly by his if it's his friend in a private house.
Mark, brilliant, mate. Thanks for your time this morning.
Thank you, Mark.
Been an ongoing story, there's no doubt about that. Thanks for your time. Interesting one from Steve, West Ham fan. The wronging in all of this is the so-and-so who released the video. I don't think there's any doubt about that. I don't think there's any doubt about that, Steve. Okay, mate, coming up we hear from a Liverpool fan who believes Coote simply has to go. That's coming next.
talkSPORT Breakfast, waking you up Monday to Friday morning from 6 a.m. on AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.